Welcome. My name is Christopher Paisley. I'm a Philadelphia public school teacher, and this is Inside White Fragility. Today, I'd like to talk about my 2-minute clip on Fox and Friends this morning. It was great. I was actually on Fox and Friends this morning. They needed a school teacher to talk about critical race theory, and my name, I guess, came up from previous articles. And I got a call from a producer, and they wanted to, kind of bring me on the show to give a kind of a man on the street, a public school teacher's viewpoint on critical race theory in the schools. And it just so happened to be that the coincidence was, my book, Exploring White Fragility, has just come out a couple weeks ago, so they kind of blended the two together, and I thought it was a pretty interesting situation. Steve Ducey did the interview, and I thought it came out pretty well. Of course, it was so quick. It was literally like boom, and it happened so fast. It was hard to really get down into any points, but it was an interesting learning experience. And the good thing is, I think in the future, possibly, if they ever need any kind of commentary from a school teacher on this subject, they left the invitation open where I might be invited back. So, kind of a cool moment for me. I always wanted to be on Fox News, and I got the 15 minutes of fame, except it wasn't 15 minutes. It was about 2 minutes, and it went so quick. And it was hard to really focus on one topic because they kind of had I guess you could say a pre-set up kind of structure to it, and I tried to, maneuver the best I could. But here's the clip, here's the 2 minutes. And, I just wanted to share it with everybody, and maybe in the future it'll be a little bit longer and I'll build on this. But this was a great start, and I'm kind of psyched about it. So here it is.
We've been talking to you for a while about how schools across the country are pushing to adopt critical race theory in their education plans, even for preschoolers. This comes as the San Francisco Arts Department changed its name because, quote, acronyms are a symptom of white supremacy culture. Never thought of it that way. Here to discuss, Philadelphia school teacher Christopher Paisley, who's got a new book out. It's called Exploring White Fragility. Christopher, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
So what are the schools teaching our kids regarding race?
It's interesting because I think you have a sliding scale. It depends on which school and what district you're in. Mm-hmm. On certain cases, it's very reasonable. They're teaching, the basic things. Dr. Martin Luther King, judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And then you have things that are more radical, which is happening in certain schools. Like you mentioned, there was a school in Cupertino, California, where they actually had third graders deconstructing their racial identity, which definitely can be something that is questionable. Yeah. So it's a sliding scale. Some stuff is good and some stuff is a little more radical.
Absolutely. We've got a San Francisco public school teacher wrote an op-ed on Bernie Sanders in the Chronicle in San Francisco and said, I puzzled and fumed as an individual as I strove to be my best possible teacher. What did I see? What did I think my students should see? A wealthy, incredibly well-educated and privileged white man showing up for perhaps the most important ritual of the decade in a puffy jacket and huge mittens. They're talking about Bernie Sanders at the inauguration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely. It's an interesting situation because I have a master's degree in multicultural education, and the way it used to be we try and find a common bond. We try and come together. We focus on race because we have to, but we try and get past race to the person so we can understand each other and communicate. And now it seems like everything's about just polarizing. You have one group in this camp, you have another group in this side. Whites are privileged, they're inherently racist. People of color are victims. They're oppressed. In certain situations, students of color are learning that they're not the captain of their own ship, and I think that's very unfortunate because I think we need to get back to a place where we focus on race because you have to, but you have to get past that eventually and communicate and come together so we can continue to, make progress and do things like that.
Well, it's really something because it seems like it's everywhere. In fact, coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to talk about how Montgomery County in Maryland is spending $500,000 on an anti-racist audit. It says their goal is to become an anti-racist school system, and they're starting at preschool. Interesting stuff. Christopher Paisley, his book is Exploring White Fragility. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on this Wednesday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.